So yesterday, Eric July announced this book, Saints and Sinners, and this is an unorthodox project in many ways. I have said this. I mentioned this maybe a few months ago. What you have going on in comic books right now, entertainment in general, has presented a great opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved. Look, anybody who wants to be anything in this creation space, whether you want to get into newscasting, whether you want to be an author, if you are an artist, you want to be a comic book artist, a commentator of any sort, sports, history, whatever it is. There's never been a time like the setup I have didn't cost me a fortune. It's nothing great. It's nothing to write home about, but it gives me the opportunity to present geek information to you here on the internet. Go back 25, 30 years. Would I have ever been able to do anything like this and reach any kind of audience? Look, the fact that even 10 people watch my videos, that's crazy. I'm a nobody on the internet just talking about stuff that I love. And like I said, we have this golden opportunity whereby we can effectively reach people across the globe. And that wasn't a thing before. It wasn't possible. So the opportunities that this presents in many ways. So Eric July announced this book. Now, a couple months ago, 4 months ago or so, maybe more, there was a talent agency. I guess he was going through to pick up some artists. Somehow behind the scenes, some drama was created because somebody saw something he said somewhere else and they said, oh, we can't work with you anymore. And so he had to go find some artists. So to them, that looked like a bad thing. To me, what I saw, this is a great opportunity. Now he's probably going to reach out and get artists that would have never had the opportunity that they have now before. They would have never seen the light of day. You look at the gentleman that he got to draw Bloodruth, Michael Montenat, I believe is his name, that won a fan art competition, and that was drawn a whole book. Now, I don't know if that's the first comic book that he's ever drawn before. If it is, this is crazy. You not only drew your first comic book, it is a monster of a book. How many people for their first comic book get like an 80-page, 70, 80-page book to draw? I don't think that happens. Maybe I'm mistaken. But those opportunities are golden opportunities for us to see and hear from people we would have never heard from before. Sometimes we have this propensity to believe things can only be done like they've always been done. And I am here to tell you that is not the case. Things change. What we have now won't be what we have 20 years from now, 40 years from now. I remember growing up, when you wanted to find out about comic books, anything going on in comic books, you either got Wizard magazine, or you saw something in the back of or in one of the ads of a Marvel or DC comic book, or maybe there was, some story in the newspaper, or maybe you just happened to see something on the news about comic books, maybe. But the spread of information and the places we have to get information from now is crazy. I may read a story, I may come across a story that you never saw, and I share that story here on my channel. You might see that, mention that to somebody else who may go to the article and mention it to somebody else, and another creator grabs the article who has way bigger following, and now this thing reaches everyone. The ability for information to spread and the ability for people to enter the space, I don't think there's ever been a time like this. Look, if there was ever a time, I'm not saying that this is happening, but I'm saying if there was ever a time where there was a possibility for a comic book renaissance, I believe that is now. I believe more than ever, this is the opportunity. I'm going to get into this article from fandompulse.com. Rippaverse assembles all-star YouTube creator lineup, including the Critical Drinker, Az, Drunk 3PO, and MauLer for Saints and Sinners Anthology. And here's the interesting thing. I saw in one of the clips I saw, I believe it was Az. I think he said they approached him. I'm almost positive it was that they approached him, either the Soska Sisters or Eric himself. And he was, had no intention on writing anything. This is how talent is discovered. The book might be great. It may not be great. Maybe Az writes this and we all go, yeah, keep your day job. Now, I'm going to say, with all of the talent that Rippaverse has access to, Chuck Dixon, the Soska Sisters, Mike Barron, who these are established writers. They have helped Eric July craft and hone his writing skills. And I've seen an increase in the quality that he puts out in writing. There's going to be somebody who disagrees in the comments. Go right ahead. Feel free. I enjoy reading your comments. I politely disagree with you. I think Eric July does a very good job writing, and I think his quality has increased. So I said that to say there's no way the Soskas are going to let Az fall flat on his face. They're going to help him in crafting this story. This might birth something in him that he didn't even know was there. Like, yo, this story writing thing, I'm digging this. What Eric is doing is he is building a culture and a team of enjoyment in comic books. I wrote something on, I had an X post, and I'm gonna go to my X account and read this X post just because I think this is actually relevant to what I'm talking about right now as far as the comic book space and what we see in the comic book space. I said, a lot of major comic book titles struggle because the creators forgot that they were making comic books. Give me a fun story where heroes face off against villains and anti-heroes make me question who's correct. Make it fun and entertaining, and you got me. I think that's what Eric is figuring out. People want fun entertainment. You're going to have your naysayers. You're going to have people that say, oh, this is trash. It sucks. I don't like it. Every company has that. There are books that I still read from Marvel and DC that people who agree with me on a bunch of issues will say those books are trash and I won't read them. We're all subject to our opinions. We all have our likes and dislikes. But I think what this does here is this provides a framework for something outside of the norm, outside of what we see from mainstream comics, and for some new people to enter and maybe give us something that we haven't seen before. Okay, Eric July's Rippaverse Comics has unveiled its most ambitious project yet with Saints and Sinners #1, an anthology that brings together some of the most influential voices in alternative media for a collection that promises to expand the Rippaverse in bold new directions. The 100-page anthology represents an evolution for the independent publisher, showcasing both fan-favorite characters and exciting new additions to the growing universe. The creative lineup reads like a who's who of YouTube's most successful commentators and creators, each bringing their unique storytelling sensibilities to the Rippaverse. HeelvsBabyface, the popular British YouTuber known for his incisive pop culture commentary, joins the writing team alongside Jay David, better known to his millions of followers as Drunk 3PO, whose previous comic book, Achromatic Chronicles Blue, was a crowdfunding sensation. Critical analysis powerhouse Callum Edmunds, MauLer, and Will Jordan, the Critical Drinker, bring their storytelling expertise to the project as well. MauLer, whose in-depth critiques of film and television have garnered him a massive following, and The Critical Drinker, whose best-selling Ryan Drake thriller novels have established him as a formidable fiction writer. Beyond his YouTube presence, both contribute stories that promise to deliver the thoughtful character development their fans expect. And I believe that. I believe that this is actually going to generate and produce something that we probably didn't even know we wanted, right? Like, did you know you wanted to see a story from HeelvsBabyface? I didn't. But now, especially that I found out he's writing about Ingrid Valdez, which for me is one of the most interesting characters in Alpha Core. She's unique and different. And as of late, I've kind of been interested in, I actually want to know more about her. I don't really understand her, but I want to. So I'm excited to see that he chose this character. Maybe it's not good. But again, as I said, I don't think they're going to let this man fall on his face. And I think these are going to be well-developed stories and enjoyable stories. Are they going to be perfect? This is the million-dollar question. Obviously, no story is perfect. Here's what I want from my comic books. And despite all of the, I wouldn't say massive hatred, but the Rippaverse does get hate from some people. And in spite of the hate that it gets, I have enjoyed myself reading comic books. This, as a fan, that's what I want to do. I want to open a comic book and enjoy myself. And the Rippaverse has provided that time and time and time again. And I don't see this being any different.